So right off the bat, I'm just gonna come clean and say it, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. The Tasty YouTube channel is dead. They've barely posted for months now. BA has been canceled. The traditional celebrity chef model is dead to us. What do we do? This is really the biggest crossroads I've ever seen in all the years I've been making food content, and I figured when in doubt, go back to your roots and return to some good old-fashioned pizza recipes. For those of you uncultured, this channel wouldn't exist today if it wasn't for pizza and all its different forms and all of its glory. The pizza dips and pizza mac and cheeses of the world is one of the biggest reasons I'm here doing this right now. And today we're gonna explore some more pizza variations, places that we have never gone before, starting with the Birria pizza, and following that up with one of the recipes that has been absolutely everywhere recently, the chicken parm a la vodka pizza. I guess it's time to party like it's 2015, and let's get right into this one. Simply because I cannot wait another second to be able to stuff more beefy, cheesy birria down the gullet, we will be starting first with the Birria taco pizza. I gathered together some white vinegar and sweet paprika, garlic powder, chili powder, guajillo chilies and salsa verde, some mayo and bay leaves, sour cream, whole oregano, ancho chilies and garlic, fresh limes and lemons, Oaxaca cheese and cumin, a yellow onion, salt and pepper, a big old beef round, 1 tomato, whole cloves, and some fresh cilantro. And I quickly stopped at apparently my new go-to place for large high-quality tortillas, Chipotle. Shout out to the worker who hooked me up with these things for free. Kinda made my whole day. So, to anyone that's confused as to why I'm only doing 2 pizzas in a video like this, usually I'd be doing 4, maybe even more than that. I actually plan to do more than this. A ramen pizza was on the slate at one point. Maybe I'll get back to that somewhere down the road. But when I started writing out my grocery list and planning each stage of this, I had to cut it back a little bit. Because for this one alone, we have to make each component from scratch, starting with the classic Birria beef. We made this in last year's Birria video. This is a recipe from Chef Andres Galindo over on the Munchies channel. And this was one part of the video planning that I refused to scrap. I really wanted a reason to return to this godly recipe. It is quite involved, from reconstituting your dried chilies, blending those up with all your spices, refrying that adobo mixture and adding all your seasoned beef in, allowing it to simmer away for hours, or even braise in the oven for 3 to 4 hours. This could take up half of a day. It's a lot, but I promise you it is worth it. And that goes directly into my next point, that the video itself I'm referencing for the Birria pizza doesn't have a recipe attached to it. It just shows you the combination of the components. I think it's actually from a restaurant, like you can buy this somewhere. And that's why I took it upon myself to jump back to this classic recipe and pair that up with some shredded up queso Oaxaca, some freshly chopped up onions and cilantro as another layer in the pizza, and then another all-timer that has probably made countless appearances on the channel by now. It is Joshua Weissman's spicy crema from his chicken crunch wrap. I dream about this sauce. I whip it up all the time. I put it on sandwiches, chicken, any kind of rice bowl, even a salad maybe. It is just so good. I also just want to get this out of the way. This is not any kind of cultural competition. I know we're making a Mexican and a sort of Italian pizza. Will I subconsciously be comparing them in my head? Possibly, but that's not the purpose of this video. I just wanted to get back to my roots, make some new variations of pizza things. I can already see some of the comments saying, these aren't pizzas, what the hell are you even talking about? Well, the rules for this one were that it has some kind of starchy, floury crust, and then a sauce, and some cheese. As far as the toppings and the shapes, that stuff can run wild. I don't really care. And as a wise man once said,
love is pizza, pizza's love. Keep that in your mind.
I'm not quite sure how it didn't register in my brain to not put a 600-degree piece of metal on my wooden cutting board. This thing got charred beyond belief and probably ruined. Great job, David. But we'll worry about that later, because this thing looks delicious, so let's give it a taste. Will this be worth the cutting board casualty? It honestly looks like it might be. A little dip in the consomme. I feel like that's a requirement. I have no words. This is one of the best things I've eaten in my entire life. It's probably the best birria creations out of all the ones that I have tasted, made, or purchased. This is unbelievable. There's no quesadilla in the world that is ever gonna live up to this thing. I say this very often, but when you have a food like this that is packed to the max with your salt, a little bit of sweet, the fatty richness, I'm just a sucker for it. It hits so many flavor profiles. That meat is just fall apart tender. There's no physical possible way it can be dry with this consommé. Shut it down. It's gotta be up there with some of the best recipes I've ever made, immediately. The top 10, maybe, top 25 for sure. Just make it. It's so damn good. And next up today is one of the recipes that you guys have sent me most often by far. It is the alla vodka chicken parm pizza from Quality Italian in New York City. I grabbed some vodka and heavy cream, flour and chicken breasts, hot honey, panko breadcrumbs, a yellow onion and crushed tomatoes, garlic, pancetta, parsley, tomato paste, fresh parm, salt and pepper, a couple of eggs, and some fresh mozzarella. Once again, we are recipe-less for this one. It is just another video showing you a product you can buy. We are gonna be left to our own devices. So for this, I will be bringing back my classic vodka sauce recipe with plenty of pancetta, onions and garlic, an optional sprinkle of chili flakes, tomato paste, lots of cream, and the obligatory shot of lighting up my vodka. As always, this is very optional and a little bit dangerous, so I'd almost say don't do it. I just, for some reason, can never help myself. And besides the sauce is obviously the chicken, and I was very confused when watching these videos. I immediately assumed that the chicken part of this was just a ground chicken perfectly formed into a circle, kind of like a giant chicken patty, because I've seen that before. I think it's even on the Cheesecake Factory menu. It would be easier to form it in a perfect circle that way. But from what I can tell from these videos, it looks like real chicken. It doesn't look like some ground composite to me. It looks like perfectly intact chicken breast that was pounded thin. Honestly, maybe even a little undercooked in some of those shots. And I thought on it, but honestly, I have absolutely no idea how they achieve that, if that's what it is. It's gotta be multiple pieces of chicken that are fused together somehow, maybe through a meat glue or flash frozen together. I don't really know how they get it so large and perfectly circle, but maybe that's why they charge $80 for it. Either way, I do not have the time or resources today to figure out how they achieve such sorcery. So today, I just grabbed the largest behemoth-sized chicken breasts I can find. I'm gonna butterfly them, pound them nice and thin, and then we'll have some personal-sized chicken parm pizzas. But I got mine coated in the flour, eggs, and panko, fried off in about 350-degree oil for a couple minutes on each side, loaded up with the vodka sauce, some of the fresh mozz, and then finished with the fresh parsley and a nice drizzle of the hot honey. And now is the time to see if the taste lives up to its gorgeousness. This hits pretty much every visual mark that I'm looking for when making these. It's cheesy, it's eye-catching. I do wish I got a little bit of a cheese pull, but whatever. To virtually nobody's surprise, this is phenomenal. The chicken is cooked perfect and still crispy. The sauce is great. I love fresh mozzarella. Just like pizza, there is not a chicken parm in any form that I wouldn't enjoy. And this kind of reinforced that I'd almost always prefer vodka sauce on chicken parms too. It's gotta be the additions of the pork products, usually pancetta, guanciale, and the heavy cream. It adds richness, it adds complexity. I just love me a vodka sauce. And even though I said I wouldn't do this, and this is very good, I think I'd probably pick the first one. Don't get me wrong, this is incredible, but I feel like this is much more standard, more common for me anyway. That birria just feels a little bit more special. Either way, an unbelievable day of food making. You can't go wrong with either one of these. Do them both if you can. Now it's time for me to sit here and eat a whole lot more of this.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.